review of the year. Over to you, Andrew.
Okay, yeah, it's a very unusual situation to be in doing it in this way, but I think it's been an amazing 18 months from my perspective. Our talks program ended prematurely due to COVID, and just hang on a second, I'm just getting something prepared. Right. Yeah, we had a special TV program, which I don't know if any of you caught last December, which was Digging for Britain: The Greatest Discoveries. That had some extra footage in for the archaeological dig, which was quite interesting. Unfortunately, the VA Day centenary was cancelled, and of course we had lots of plans for that. We wanted to do an exhibition.
Down.
Can you all hear?
Yeah. Device is ready.
Oh, okay.
Bluetooth mode.
Yeah.
And then we have a 60th. If you remember, in 2018 we had the 60th anniversary of Walgate School, and we sort of decided to do a new book on Walgate School, the history of Walgate School, and Jane and John Brown are taking that on as a project, and I'm helping them with anything that I can help with. And so that is currently in progress. We're getting some people from ex-pupils and staff are sending in their memories to go in the book. There's been a lot more exciting archaeology in the area. Peter Hawkins been doing some more archaeology up on the walls. I think we'll report that into a later meeting. And of course, if we'll get Paul away to update us on some of the new parts of Pocklington that are also showing more exciting archaeology. We've also got a new book in the background in progress at the moment called RAF Pocklington Losses, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner the sort of information that's going to be on there. John Nottingham and Mike Silburn are working on this, and they're actually doing a comprehensive study of all of the aircraft that were lost in World War II from Pocklington Airfield, but they've actually extended it to include RAF Melbourne and RAF Elvington. So they're trying to document every single crash that's happened in the area, or loss of aircraft that was lost in World War II. It's going to be a quite remarkable document, actually, and I think it'll be quite an important one for the group to publish. Whether we do it electronically or in a book form is still to be decided, so that's something else to still come on later. We've had to do a newsletter to compensate for lack of meetings. We've obviously got this virtual AGM, and we're also going to plan a virtual walk. So Phil is going to walk around the town and do a historical tour. And I'm going to video it, and we're going to put it on the internet. So hopefully we can still have things like this and meetings virtually in these sad times. Okay, so the next thing is the website. The website's done very well. We've had lots of users and page views. We've included sales of books on the website now, so you can see we've now included the people and places of Old Pocklington, and we've had that up there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and we've actually sold three copies now. So that's another £6 that goes in every time that we sell one of those into the bank account. So it's useful to get these publications in. And then the actual page views, I've tried to include 2 years. So we've got 1st of January to the 30th of September for 2019 and 2020. So you can see that the number of users in the previous year was 13,000, and we've dropped slightly to 12,000. But and more encouragingly, the page views has moved from 49,000 page views up to 51,000 page views. So there's more people looking at the same people looking, but they're looking at more pages. So that's quite encouraging. Obviously, there's been a big effect from this coronavirus that's reduced numbers slightly. So moving on to the website updates. So we've got the website updates. There's been lots of website updates. I'm not going to go through all of them here. There's been a heck of a lot, and I've tried to include most of them in the newsletter that went around. But there's been a lot of work done during the lockdown on updating the website. Phil has also been very good at writing articles for the Pocklington Post. I think they rely on Phil for a lot of the original articles that come out. So you can see down the bottom right here some of the articles that Phil's written, and also some stuff for Yacht Press he also writes as well. So very, very important to keep that going. And then TV, we've actually got more TV contacts recently than we've ever had before. So we've had Digging for Britain, the Greatest Discoveries, which came up last December. But now Phil's also in negotiation with these Rumpus Media for information on Pocklington train station. So they're going to do a feature on Pocklington train station once we've got all that sorted. The Antiques Road Trip have actually been in contact with me because they're doing a feature on Thomas Cook. So I'm actually providing them with information on Thomas Cook and from Allerthorpe, and giving them all that information. So that'll come up in a future episode. And then, of course, we've had George Clark's Old House, New House from Channel 4. And I don't know if you saw that on the Channel 4 programme, but it featured Eden House. And the good thing is that Phil did a lot of research for this and found the Elizabeth Loftus window in Pocklington Church that he pointed them to. And they did set up their filming crew in Pocklington Church and included that feature as well. So we did a lot of research for that programme, and they were very, very grateful. So they said they were going to give us some money for that. So I'm going to chase them up. And then the website updates. I'm not going to show you every website page that's been updated, but the one I was particularly proud of is this Water Priory, the Hand of St. James. It's quite an interesting historical article that took a lot of research, and I think it would stand up in any academic history book for research. And I think it's quite an interesting story. So maybe we can have a short talk on that at some point. Our meetings, I'm not going to dwell on those because Phil went through those. We had our AGM in 2019, that's 18 months ago now. We had History of Yacht printing, but the one I wanted to highlight was this Belgian Albert Hill, who his father was actually born in Pocklington, and it actually brought out a great story of the way that Pocklington people helped the Belgian people during World War I. And Albert actually came across for the 75th D-Day memorial ceremony where he actually gave a speech thanking the people of Pocklington. I thought that was a very moving occasion, and Albert's still in touch with us and sends us emails quite regularly, and he loves Pocklington now. Then of course we've had other talks. Chris gave a talk on the Pocklington Church. We had our evening of short talks, I think, are one of our most interesting ones, and we had Heidi giving a talk on Pocklington sauce, which was an unusual finding. And then we've had updates on archaeology, and then the Hull Brigade, Hull Pals. Barry Barnes actually retired from talking and gave a very good talk on Hull Pals. And of course, I gave a talk on old shops that was almost a lockout. It was very, very popular. And the talk of Paula Wares was remarkable, having a huge attendance. So we were just on the cusp of being locked down at that point. So I hope we didn't spread any viruses in that big meeting that we had. But that was on the 19th of February, just a month before the lockdown. So the research. The parish enclosures and tithe maps are a remarkable thing that we have on the website. It's a lot of information and a lot of work done by John Nottingham and Mike Sylvan. And I think we ought to be very grateful for their work on this. The previous year, you can see the amount of work they did on each of the local parishes. It was quite remarkable, and they're all on the website. But and since the last AGM, they've done these maps, including the hasn't Pocklington grown map, which is on there as well. So our thanks go very much to John Nottingham and Mike Silburn. So the families, we've done a lot of family research, and the Moore family is the one that particularly stands out for me. And the main descendant of that you'll all know is Dennis Moore, who had the electrical shop in Pocklington. He's from this family. And Dennis actually gave me this photograph at the bottom right here, which is of the Moore family from Barnby Grange. So this photograph was taken in about 1905. So in the 1901 census, they're all in this Barnby Grange. Now, Barnby Grange was the farmhouse of Pocklington Industrialist, that is now Pocklington Airfield and Pocklington Industrial Estate. So that was the main farmhouse of it. But the remarkable thing was that I thought it was great having this 1905 photograph of the whole of Moore family, but this Maggie Turner contacted me and said that she had a photograph of the Moore family, of Joseph Jesse Moore. And this photograph turned up at the top right, which was of Joseph Jesse Moore. And it's actually about 12, 15 years earlier than the photograph on the bottom right. So in the 1891 census, they were actually living in Barnby Moor House on the main A1079. And you can see that the door here and the steps are identical to the door and the steps on Barnby Moor House. So this photograph was probably taken in about 1891 and shows the whole of the Moore family. So I actually, I was quite excited to find this link, because in 1891 the family were in Barnby Moor House, and then sometime after that they moved to Barnby Grange. So I was quite excited. So I went along to Barnby Moor House, and I had a chat with the proprietor there, and I met this Dominic Mumbenga, who's actually got a micro distillery at Barnby Moor House, and he was very, very pleased to get a copy of these photographs. He said he'd never seen such an old photograph of the house. So that was a really good thing to do. And then Maggie Turner sent me further photographs of her family, and this is the Nicholsons from Northfield Farm. So this is in 1891 they were in Northfield Farm, which is just to the north of Pocklington. But if this photograph was taken prior to 1891, it may be Car Lane in Pocklington, because that's where they were farming then. So this is a lovely photograph of the wheelwright. It looked like wheelwrights. They're doing some wheels and I'd love to find out which building or where that photograph was taken. But it's a smashing photograph. It was actually stamped on the back, Michael Taylor of Pocklington. So we know it's a local photograph. And because it says Marketplace on it, it's likely to be around about 1880, because that's when Michael Taylor was stamping his photographs with Marketplace on. So we can almost be very accurate on the date. The other thing was the Leneuve. Maybe Phil can just say something on this, but we've got we've made a video of this, and we've had further contact from some of the families, Phil.
Yes, we keep getting just little bits of the jigsaw. If you remember, Leneuve, they were these Spanish Republicans who were billeted in the Territorial Army Drill Hall in Barnby Road for 3 months in 1944, and then they were the very first troops who were into Paris to liberate it in August 1944. We had some contacts via the Pocklington Post that the son of one of Laneuve had contacted them and passed his details on because he's trying to track down any more information about his father. I also managed to get a copy of the book that was written by a French journalist all about the whole story of Laneuve, not just a little bit about Pocklington. So if anybody wants to read up on Laneuve, who were the 9th company of the Marching Regiment of Chad in Pocklington. I was passing a comment, an email with Andrew recently that he told me that there is a monument to the Free French in Hornsey, and I was saying we maybe ought to look at doing an information board or some sort of plaque in Pocklington about the Free French, and particularly Laneuve, because it was quite a notable starting place for them. So that's something that maybe we should put on the agenda for the coming year.
Yeah,
okay.
That's good. Thanks, Phil. Now, the other thing I've done is I've been in contact with Stuart Emmett, who's written this book on York Independent buses. So I gave him a lot of information on Everingham Brothers and also Bailey's buses. And he sent me some quite nice photographs of Everingham Brothers, which I've not seen before. And so this one's from the 1950s, and you can see all the Everingham Brothers buses outside the same place where the buses actually congregate today. So it's quite an interesting photograph. And then one at the bottom there, which has got an Everingham Brothers bus photograph with the Pocklington Church in the background. So that's, and if you want to read more about the buses in this area, the book is available called York Independence, and it's now out. And he's put full acknowledgement to the Pocklington and District Local History Group, so that's good. Photographs. Oosthorpe Camp. I keep collecting photographs. There's very few photographs of Oosthorpe Camp, but I think we're getting a few more now. And so in the actual war years of World War I, they actually built some wooden huts rather than just have tents. And those huts were sold in 1919 to various places, and they became, some of them became village halls. I have a strong suspicion that the Barnby Moor Village Hall is one of the officers' messes that was from Oosthorpe Camp. So that's another theory that we've got. This photograph at the bottom was in the Robson collection, which I think also is Oosthorpe. And I missed this one on eBay, which was a Barbers Tent, which I think came from Oosthorpe as well, because it had a Pocklington postmark. So. But that went for quite a lot of money on eBay. And then, unusually, there was you don't get many photographs of the post-World Wars, but this one arrived just after World War I, in about 1919 or 1920, and it was taken in Pocklington from some of the veterans that were returning. So this is quite an unusual photograph to have that one. This is a great photograph of Garvey Hill, and in the early 1920s, hill racing on motorbikes was just a phenomenon. Everybody used to do it. They used to think it was the best thing ever, is to go up hills with motorbikes. And this fantastic photograph emerged this last year, and it has. From left to right, it has George Arthur Reed, and on the website is a full article about George Arthur Reed. He was a motorcycle pioneer, and he was based in Pocklington and Market Wheaton. But there is a full article about him that was written by Ian Gibbs on the Pocklington website. Unfortunately, Ian has now had a stroke, so he's not able to communicate with us anymore. The far right is Alan Ripley from Bishop Wilton, who had a motorbike shop in Bishop Wilton, and I've got pictures of his motorbike shop in Bishop Wilton. And in the middle, I think, is Wycliffe Everingham, which the main reason I say that is that the motorbike number was assigned to Wycliffe Everingham, but there is, maybe it isn't him because it doesn't look like his photographs, but he's a bit thin there compared to some of the photographs I've seen of him, but it could be. But look at Garvey Hill there. Now, they just look like a dirt track. Very, very unusual. And then I'm not going to go through all the postcards and photographs that I've acquired, but this was one I've not seen before. And the good thing about these postcards is that they're good enough to zoom in. And you can see the Leicester rope maker's shop there. And then coincidentally, I came across this Leicester photograph, which I found from a lady in Wilberforce Manor who had this, from a lady called Ivy Stocks. Ivy was a solicitor with Powell and Young in Pocklington, and she has some great photographs, but unfortunately I've not been able to contact her since January because of the coronavirus, so I'll have to go back and get further photographs of her. This is the Leicester family outside the Grove in Pocklington in 1911. So we've got all of the Leicester family, who were the rope makers of Pocklington, here named. That this was sent from another source, and this was sent by John Ward. And this is a family wedding that took place in 1914 and at the Grove in the Pocklington. And it was sent to me by John Ward. Lovely photograph of the bride and groom. And obviously the Leicester family were quite well-to-do by the look of it. I got a photograph of Percy and William Gilson outside their shopping marketplace. The shop was established in 1828, and some of the old wording is still on the shop today. So it's a shame that it closed down, really. But we're building up a lot more information on the watchmakers and clockmakers in Pocklington that go back to the 18th century. So we've got the Watsons, the Northans, the Friars, and the Reuben Milners. There was photographs, and we found clocks from around the region that are assigned to Pocklington. So you can see Friar of Pocklington on this one, and then this one's Northern of Pocklington. And then we've got a photograph of the Friars. They all tended to move to Hull. Obviously, that Hull was the place where they could make more money as clockmakers.
If anybody knows of where there is a Pocklington grandfather clock going cheap, let us know. I was trying to buy one for the museum, and we bid. If you went back, Andrew, to those two faces, we bid on eBay for the Northern clock on the right, and somebody was obviously determined to bid it because Andrew put in a bid in the last 5 seconds for £400, and it was gazumped by somebody who put another bid in for the last 2 seconds. But they do come up from time to time, and a Friar clock, I was gutted that I found out a fortnight later there was a Friar grandfather clock sold in an auction in Scarborough for only £100 a few months ago that we missed out on. So if you know of any clocks that are coming up, let us know, because I'm determined to get one for display purposes.
Okay, so that's the Gilsons. I've also got one of the Steele's shop in Pocklington. We've got some ones of the Burnby Hall Gardens, and some great photographs that came to light from George Todd in Pocklington, who had a full set of Dr. Fairweather's photographs, and there's some amazing photographs in this photograph album, and here you can see a really old photograph of, down the bottom left, of Burnby Hall glass house. Doesn't look anything like that today. And then Stewart's, and this is Major Stewart and Dr. Fairweather going on a fishing trip. You can see it was quite a successful fishing trip, and this date on this photograph is about 1890, so it's quite an amazing photograph. And again, there's Major Stewart there in his travels when he went to India, so he's actually dressed up as a Maharaj. And then we got some photographs of local Pocklington bands, and we've done a 1960s feature on the website of this is Roy and the Zeros. So I've tried to make history a broad thing rather than just talking about medieval and Victorian all the time. We should really include things like the Beatlemania that happened in Pocklington in 1960s. So finds and acquisitions. Pete Kunkel contacted me to say he makes models of Pocklington vehicles, which is amazing. He's an Allison's wagon, and he's now currently working on a Barker's Dairy one, saying, because I found the picture of the door, so he's going to work on a Barker's Dairy one. So it's amazing what people like to do. And then in the Art Centre loft, they found a lot of items up there in the Art Centre loft. There was photograph albums, there was, and all seemed to be related to the Wilson family of Barbers Tent. And this lady was an amazing lady. She won a lot of bike races, and she beat all the men. She's called Sarah Frances Wilson, and in 2021 she got the gold medal for going up the Staxton Hill climb. So this is her on her bike, and these are all of the trophies she won that were all stored in Pocklington Art Centre. Why they were up there, I have no idea, in the loft. And I found newspaper articles where she beat all the men at motorbiking. A remarkable lady. And it's her brother. There was a photograph in the Art Centre loft of this radio, and apparently it was patented by her brother J.S. Wilson of Barbers Tent, and he built this radio. I've been trying to find information on the patent, but it looks quite an impressive radio. Now then, he's an interesting guy because he was a motor mechanic in the RAF. And I found that he started Wilson's Garage on York Road, and their house was the bungalow just opposite Houston and Robinson Garage. And the Wilson's Garage actually became Ogle's Garage, and then Ogle's Garage became Houston and Robinson. So this lady's brother actually started the garage that is now Houston and Robinson, and they lived in the bungalow opposite. So interesting stories that arise, and then here is one of the Wilson. I think it's Joseph Wilson. This man. So this will be her father, who was in the band of Pocklington coronation band. And this photograph was taken for the coronation of Edward VII. So it'll be about 1902, 1903. Is it? I forgot my dates right. And then, so it's a lovely old photograph. So this is Mr. Sutherland, Joseph Wilson, and then Herbert Lamb. And then we found old newspapers. So this one is number 2 of the Pocklington Post. If anybody's got number 1, please let me know. But we've found number 2, and that's been handed to me. And we've got the last broadsheet of the Pocklington Times. So that's been handed to us as well. And then we had 21 packs of negatives that I found on eBay, and some fantastic photographs of Pocklington in these press photographs, which include David Bowman and his campaign to keep the mill. It includes Pocklington Canal clearing. It includes May Day fun runs in '85. So we've got a whole set of photographs from these press pack negatives. And then lastly, you'll be pleased to know, I'm running out of time, is this postcard. It's only a postcard of Market Wheaton, which was quite a common postcard of Market Wheaton. But on the back is some really good information. It's dated 1916, 29th of November 1916. And on the actual text, it says, "Dear Clarice, having decent weather, considering the time of year, did you see the Zeps? We did, passed right over us, laid under the hedge. Hope you are a lot better given." So this is a witness statement of the Zeppelins passing over Market Weekend, which is quite an amazing postcard, really. So that's my update, I'm afraid. So I'm going to have to leave it at that. We've found a lot more information than I've been able to show here tonight, and a lot more photographs, but hopefully that's given you a flavour of what we've been able to do.
Once again, what a marvellous performance from that. It's always one of my highlights of the year on that. So a really big thank you for Andrew, not just for presenting it, but for all the work he puts in collecting stuff and following up all the contacts. So
just amazes me you're still finding stuff.
Yeah.
There's no end to it, Peter.
Yeah. Well, that's what we always say. The well of history, you never get to the bottom of it. You can always find more. So, has anybody got any questions for Andrew from that, or from any of the earlier bits?
I'd like to give him a round of applause, but as we're muted, it really.
Very good.
Isn't there one of those sort of virtual emojis where you...
Oh, yes. Yes, we've got one there. Don't know how to do that.
I suppose we ought to have a